Okay, today I'm going to be addressing a problem with this generator. It's not leaking right now, of course, because it's not running. But when it's running, there is oil pouring out of here. It pulls up and just runs off, and it's awful. Okay, now what that means is there is a seal inside here on the crankshaft. Let me show you what I'm talking about. This is a block that's identical. Actually, this was the old one that I changed out. It had 4,000 hours on it, and it was starting to use a little bit of oil, so I swapped out the block. I took that one completely apart. As you can see, I had another one, and I took it all apart too. I've got some spare parts there. But okay, the seal that I'm talking about is right there. That seal. And this one is already off. But ordinarily what you would do to get this out would be you would either punch a hole in it or drill a hole in it, put a screw in it or something, grab a hold of it and pull it out. Or if you have this piece off, which it is off, what you can do is you can take a screwdriver and get up underneath of it and pry it out. Either way will work. They're easily pressed in pretty tight. But see, actually, I'm going to reuse this one. So this is one that was on it. This is the one that has been rotating on that, or has had that shaft rotating inside of it, and it's wore to that shaft. I could put a new one in it. I'm going to try to use this one. It actually, I can't now because I put tape around it. But before, I could take my fingers and just push it down in there, and you're not supposed to be able to do that. It's supposed to be pressed in. Okay, now, in order to put it in there, the best way to do it is to find a socket that just fits over it. Now, let me even it up first. Okay, find a socket that fits over it, and just take it with a hammer until it seats itself. And it's going to be hard to do with one hand. Let me see if I can adjust this. I got this tripod thing here, keeping thing, but as long as it works, I might hold it. Yeah. Until I start hitting with the hammer, because it's sitting on on the same table. Okay, let's try this. It's going in. I just don't want to hit it too aggressively. I think it is seated now. You want to try to make sure that it's flush around the edge. If it's not, it needs to go down more, but that's good. Okay. Now, that was the easy part, because I already had the housing took off. Now, to get to that one, as you can see, it is right there. So that means we got to take off all of this, all the way back to here. So we have a pretty good job to do. Now, the first thing that you have to do before you get into, get this set up, before you get into taking anything apart, right now, probably doesn't have much in it, but it has oil in it. I probably want to put something under this other side so that it leans this way. That way the oil will be more likely to all run out. Okay, here we go. It's turning off slow. It may not have much in it. A little hint, if it won't run out very good, sometimes you can take the dipstick out and it kind of relieves the pressure in there, but it's not going to go nowhere. I'm just going to, I'm going to leave this out. Put it over here in my spare parts. Okay. Apparently there's very little oil in it. Let me lean it way over further than what it would ever be. Yeah, good thing we shut off, huh? Okay, now I'm going to get it ready to start taking everything else off, and I'll get back with you. Okay, first thing, the cover has to come off, and that is these two screws. And actually this cover, that's nice little screw holder. Okay. Next, okay, you got to take ground off right here. Hoping you can see that's the green wire. If you can't really see that, I can't tell. This phone doesn't have the best screen on it. Okay, let's see, is that, no. I'm sure that I have the right socket to fit that. That'll work. Okay. These wires, it would be a good idea before you start taking these things off to take a picture of where the wires are. Like, see, all these red wires, it's just a terminal block, but all these red wires are together. They're color coded. It's not really that hard, but still, it would be a good idea because, as you can see on this other one, you have a white wire and two black wires. I mean, they're all neutral wires, but they're slightly different colors. So, if you take a picture, you'll know that that's the way that they went. You'll know which terminal that they went on, which shouldn't really matter. Like I said, it's only a terminal block. It's nothing critical. Okay. So you have to take all these off because this whole cover on the end has to come off. There are probably ways to do it without taking it all off, but I'm doing it this way. Okay. There's a plug that you unplug there. Now, something very important. This device right here is your brushes, your brush holder. And that's wrong socket. It's supposed to be the same size, but apparently not. Maybe more like this one, yeah. Okay, these are well. Okay. If you don't take this off first, then when you pull this cover off, you're going to break your brushes. I'll show you what I'm talking about when I get it out. Okay, very carefully lift them out. As you can see, it has two little brushes on the end. These are about wore down. It's about time for a new set. 4,000 hours, so you can see that they wear down all the way, almost all the way to the bottom. There's a little bit left on them. I mean, it'll work for a while. Okay, now, as you can see, this wire, the main wire that comes out, goes to your box on the generator that's got all your plugs in it and stuff. Okay. This, that, and that have to all come off. Washers came off of it. Gotta keep the washers on. This one actually has a ground wire on it. I guess that wouldn't cut to right there. Okay, now. Bolts over there, and we have this bolt, you can see it, yeah, and one over here. Those are the mounts that actually hold, yeah, there we go. These actually hold this end of the generator to the frame. On mine, that is a 12 millimeter. Both of them are. Okay, I didn't need to put that one at that. Gee. I may try to fast forward through some of this bolt loosening stuff, but you get the idea. And I like to loosen the ones on the bottom too that hold the whole thing on. That way, it gives you more movement to get that piece out of there. There we go. I want to keep up with all this hardware because we need to put it all back together here in a little while. Like I said, that cap that went on the end of this makes an excellent tray to hold everything. So now this is the fun part, trying to get that off of there. That'll make a good pry bar, I guess. Okay, that's out. This one out too. Okay, okay, it took some finagling around to get those motor mounts out. It took me a few minutes, but I got them. Now, we're going to lift this piece off. It just comes off here, but you've got to guide your wires through and watch your brushes. And there you go. There's the end of the shaft, and it also has 12mm bolt. Well, first, let me get a screwdriver. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Next thing to do is take this whole assembly right here off. Not make it easier to get this cover off. This is only it's only an aluminum cover. And then you can get your screwdriver just down in the ends of it enough to grab a hold of it if you can get an angle on it. And once you get it popped loose, the whole thing will lift out. Of course, it's got oil on it, so it's slippery. Now we got to take this out. Like I said, this bolt is a 12mm. No, it's not. It's 10mm. Huh. Oh, that's right. I changed the bolts. I will put the 12mm one back in it. If you just try to turn this, of course the whole engine will turn. So you've got to hold and turn. And as you can see, you can't just reach down and pull this off. It's pressed on. So a little trick to get that off. Loosen this bolt up a couple of turns. Grab a hold and pull and peck a few times and you'll feel it come loose. And remove your bolt. And this is a long bolt because it goes all the way through to the crankshaft. This pulls off. There's your seal. Now, I'm not just going to change the seal. I'm going to change this whole housing because this is the housing that went to the other block, and the housing that's on the other block is this one. And the reason this did burn out is because I didn't oil. I did not put any oil around the seal before I put it in here. So that is what caused that trouble. Okay, now I just have to take out some. Those are 13s. Just have to take out a few of those. Okay. Bolts over there. Oh, that should not be that loose. Usually you have to tap it a little bit to get it to come out. Yeah. Okay, now this is the new housing I have. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to pour some oil in the cap like that. And then I'm going to pour the oil on the seal. Here is the step that I skipped when I put the other one in there, and that's why I'm doing this a second time. Okay, I'm also going to take a little bit of oil. Give me another cap full. And since these bearings have been out of oil for a little while, I'm going to pour oil all the way around them. There we go. And also, before putting this back on, clean everything up around the area where your seal is going to be touching. And make sure there are no little pieces of gasket. Might be one right there. And some right there. Let me get something. Knife. Now don't gouge. Don't gouge out pieces of metal. Just scrape the old gasket material off. Because if you're gouging, you're going to make more leaks. And this metal, when you're cleaning this with a knife, this metal could actually be really messed up by a knife. I've got a little piece of something in there. Must have come off that rag. Don't want to get nothing like that inside your crankcase. Alright. Now this is a good chance if there's anything that you want to check, make sure everything's working right. You know, if you hear any noise, if it sounds like it's knocking or anything, you can check and make sure that it's, you know, everything is tight, which it is. Then, ordinarily, you would put on a new gasket, a brand new one. But this one is in good shape. It's not hurt at all. When we're done, we'll go around and clean this one up. The more you clean it, the better your chances of it sealing up are. So, there we go. Now, oil on the seal. Assembly is just the reverse of disassembly. Make sure you have everything lined up when you're putting this back on, because if you don't get everything lined up, let me put, I know one more place I want to put some oil. Okay. As you can see, this is a camshaft. And right there is the hole where the camshaft rides. And you want to put a little bit of oil on that. I'll put a little bit more around the bearing. It's not going to hurt. We're going to end up putting the same oil back in the engine anyway. More oil, the better. And then everything just slips right in as you're pushing it down on there. Kind of line up your bolt holes and make sure everything seats all the way down. You check your seal, make sure everything is seated good. Okay. Now, pretty much it's just start sticking stuff back on there until it's reassembled, and then fire it up and test it. We'll pause out for a little bit. And you've already seen me take everything apart. It's just exactly the same thing. I'm just putting it back on. But I'll be back in a minute. Yeah, one more thing. When you do tighten these bolts, like I just tightened this one, you go straight across. Tighten the other one. You go back and forth. And this drill is on high speed, so it's not torquing them down. It's just putting them on there. Okay, I don't have torque wrench to put on it, but it's really best to torque it to the specifications. But if you don't have it, tighten it snugly and tighten them the same way. Go in kind of a pattern where you're not tightening one side more than the other. Let's see. Sometimes it's hard to remember which one you bent to. But, okay. After you get them all tight, go around, check them, make sure everything's tight and you won't have any leaks. We don't want any leaks, especially after we just did all this work. Okay. Okay, I guess I will show some of this going together. So there's a couple of little tips, like where your brushes ride here. You want to clean that off, especially if you've had an oil leak, because you will get oil on these, and that's not good, because you're going to get any kind of contaminant that gets on those is going to cause a problem. Okay, that is seated down in there. We use a bigger 12mm bolt and torque it down. One way to get it torqued without having the engine crank on you is leave it that side. Okay. Now, since I have my hands all over these contacts again, and I'm going to clean them back off. Because I'm sure I just got oil all over them again. Okay, now. So, let's see. Get the iron and copper. And here we go. There's that. This one on the cover. I think this is just more for looks than anything else. I don't see it having any real structure to it. And this piece. Okay. Now, you have to put your brushes in. Don't want to just jam them in there. Just kind of very gently get them in there. Let's get it down a little bit more. Okay, let's go ahead and put the bolts in. Okay, this way we make sure we have everything lined up. Before we put our brushes in. These engine mounts are a pain in the butt. Well, you probably could mount the engine bolts on there and put everything on as one unit. Yeah, I'm this far, so I'm going to keep going. Do not peck on this stuff hard. And you can feel it. When it seats, you can feel it. As soon as it seats, stop immediately. Or you'll cause major problems. You crack all this out, and yeah, it's not good. Okay, for this I need to put it on high or on low so I can actually torque them down. I don't know if that's good for a drill to do that, but it works. Okay. Now, your brushes. Bolt. Stick the brushes in here. And then put in your bolt. Torquing down. Now, see where this is plastic, don't torque it, don't like tighten it overly tight, just snug it is all you got to do. That's it. Okay, now of course this just plugs in, and these, you know, you've already seen all this. That's about all the little hints that I've got. The rest is just basically hooking all the wires back up, putting the cover on, putting engine mounts on, and testing it. And that's about it. Thank you for watching.